Season 3, Episode 1 of Losing Our Marbles and Talk for 2. And what better way to start the new year than with a new season of the talk show? And what better way to start the new talk show season than with the man himself, Pixel by Pixel Studios? I don't have the echo effect,
going on?
sorry.
Why didn't you have the echo effect?
That's your thing, man.
I thought you were prepared, though.
That's Season 4. We'll put it in the budget for Season 4.
Okay, add it in. Add it to the list.
It's in the list. How you doing, bud?
It's going good, man. Going good.
Nice. You're always looking like you're ready to go on a marathon. Like you're just ready to go.
Definitely not ready for a marathon, but I'm ready.
And we'll actually be talking about that hopefully soon. Well, thank you for joining me for Season 3.
What, a marathon?
Well,
planning
just
a marathon?
your ready to go-ness, your ambition.
Oh.
Your ambition. We'll
It's
be
just a
diving-
ruse.
How's Canada these days?
Cold?
Cold?
You know, getting colder.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, got to plan, take out the shovel and get it ready, polish it up.
Do you sharpen your
'Cause
shovel?
once-
Or just...
No, I don't. It's probably a good idea, though, actually. Sharpening, getting a nice edge on that shovel so you can cut into the ice.
Yeah, yeah. There's one shovel I have where it's got like that blade on the front that's like riveted on. But then after like a season, all the rivets are loose, so it's just useless.
Oh, where it has like that metal panel,
Yeah,
basically?
yeah.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, and it's nice at first, but as soon as the rivets start loosening up, it just becomes a blunt blob in front of your shoveling.
Yeah, you're just like,
it starts working against you.
Yeah, I ordered a shovel off Amazon. And it's actually held up.
Ooh,
It's like a no-name shovel thing.
Right. Having worked lawn and garden for many years, I've gone through all types of snow shovels, and I've got
Oh,
a
really?
pretty
Oh,
good
so you're
mix.
like would you consider yourself a snow shovel connoisseur?
Yes. Plow shapes are the best, assuming you don't have like stupidly wet snow, right?
Like plow shape's the one that pushes it out over
it's
top of
literally
each other?
shaped like this, like it's
Yeah.
shaped like that, and you can just.
I don't like those ones.
They're good for dry snow. For wet snow, I think you got to go more flat wide. You can go flat wide for wet snow, I think. I like aluminum. I used to use a grain scoop, and grain scoops strangely were quite effective for wet snow.
Are those the ones that are like
They're like
massive?
it's like if you took a soup ladle and then you just sharpened a blade in one side,
Okay.
kind of like that. Yeah.
And then it has like a big push?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I gotcha.
Yeah. Or snowblower. Yeah, if you just want to waste energy, that's fine. Go ahead.
I've wanted a snowblower, but I've never like had the balls to do it because the maintenance that follows. Like I'm not a
Yes,
big
yes.
mechanical guy. So like oil and gears and stuff, I don't know. I don't have a mechanic I want to take my snowblower to.
I was actually the youngest child in the family, and so when I moved out, my parents were kind of getting older, so we didn't want them shoveling the 90-foot driveway. So we all chipped in and we got them a snowblower for Christmas. And never snowed for 5 years, and then they moved to the shore where it never snows. So they never used it.
It just sat there collecting dust.
Just out there. But
Nice.
we did get the reassurance because my dad was like, well, we never used it, but it was a really good bartering chip for the house, because like they had the lawnmower, they had the snowblower, they had all the gadgets that they could just like throw in a package deal to sell the house to up the price a little bit, kind of a thing. So it was a good bartering chip, essentially.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah. But the talk show. I was in your stream lurking around, snooping as I always do.
Uh-oh.
I think people, you are probably chief lurker. I think both of us are in way more streams than people realize, just watching.
Yeah. That's why I got the
yeah.
binoculars out all the time.
I do it all the time. I'll do the binoculars. I'll do the spoof stare. Both are really good for just like I'm peeking. I'm peeking. So you were talking about some new integration. Should things go well with Twitch?
Oh yeah,
Loot box.
that was like the first time I
dropping.
mentioned it.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about that, or is it too close to infancy to really get into?
It's so early stages, but I'm okay talking about it because it's an open system. Like
Right, right, right.
to look into the framework of it is
Something that already
yeah.
exists.
Yeah.
So what are we?
You want
What
to
are we
talk about
thinking?
that now?
Yeah. Let's go right into it.
It's the redesign of Community Day. It's the reimagination of it, I guess.
Reimagining. I like it.
Right? And knowing I guess where my head's on it is like it's not about gathering people on one channel anymore. Like that's not where my head's
Correct.
at.
Correct.
It's about gathering people in the category.
Yes.
And how can we do that in the best way? And then I saw the recent Rust event going on with all the big streamers, and you see that they integrated Twitch drops. And I think they just redid Twitch drops. If not, it was recently done because it used to be very like low level integration, but now it tracks your progress. You have progress bars. You can
Right.
have progress in a specific channel. You can have progress in the game category. So I was like, oh man, like we already have everything in place,
Right.
minus the loot box system that we're developing
Right.
to tie everything in together.
The whole energy system essentially is that, in a way.
Well, yeah, like that wouldn't be a part of it, but
Right. But same idea.
like,
It's like keeping track of each person in each stream.
oh no, like we don't need that. That won't be
Ooh.
tied into it. Like drops does it separate from the game.
Right. Right.
Drops
Same.
does it for the channel,
Right.
right? So the idea would be like to tie into the drop system and the custom marbles that are already in the game for some streamers, we can onboard those streamers into that system
Mm-hmm.
so that on Fridays, let's say like it lasts for 24 hours. So like all Friday, if a streamer has a ball in their game and we're onboarded with you, you would be able to go to that channel and spend X amount of time to earn that ball as a Twitch drop. And then the second layer would be watching any marble stream. We could give away like those community coins for those loot boxes we were talking about.
Ooh. So there'd be streamer progress and there'd be category progress essentially.
Pretty much, yeah. So like basically any streamer in the category would be able to play towards the community coins,
Mm-hmm.
but then certain channels would be, I guess, partnered or whatever,
Right.
to give away their specific skin.
That's.
And it's all built into Twitch. It's just
But
the way they
it
have it
doesn't
set
sound
up,
like
it's-
too much work, other than just making it happen.
it's not too much work in theory. We're still looking into it,
Right,
but
right.
it matters on how Twitch wants to work with us because their system is pretty manual,
Mm-hmm.
and you got to fill out each date. And so for us to do that, I don't know how that would work.
Right.
So I sent
Right.
them an email and just
'Cause
waiting
you'd
for
have to do
some-
it every week or something.
Yeah, exactly. And then what if they don't answer me for 1 week and then
Right.
everything falls through, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Mm.
But yeah, like I think that's the next evolution. I think that's what it is.
No, it's good. The category is still growing. I check it every week, and it's doing its thing.
Well, with the extreme lockdowns going on, it's gonna like marbles is proven to be strong during lockdowns.
Oh yeah.
So sad to say, but as long as there's lockdowns, marbles is a go-to for a lot of people.
I think it might have been last week. It was like Tuesday night or something, and like the top 8 streamers in the category all had over 100 viewers. I was like,
Yeah.
it wasn't
top
like
end is
it wasn't
growing,
like
yeah.
it was Marble Fest or there was end of season or something. It was just a Tuesday, it's just a Tuesday.
I think I truly feel that the reason that's happening is it comes down to the viewers spreading out more
Yeah.
because we're not creating these like singular events that are massive.
Right.
It's just about spreading everybody out and letting people do their thing. So December was very heavy with events, right? With the 1,000 coins. This month I'm going very light, and I'm only working with 2 events right now, Mondays and Wednesdays, right? And then other than that, there's really nothing else. So I think there's a flow and strategy to all this stuff. but
That's
still just poking around.
something I noticed both of us do. We kind of have that matrix vision, right? Like there'll be a lot of people at an event and they're watching, the in time, they're experiencing the emotion, etc., etc. But I feel like you and I, it's all just turning into numbers and just falling into little pieces, and we're just consuming it all. And it's just like,
Yeah, you consume it in a different way.
yeah,
You consume it as a framework as opposed to a show.
right,
Which you still need to consume it as a show because the show still needs to exist.
right,
You need to understand that core side of it. But once you get the people to like, okay, you run the show, then you can step back and look at the picture, the full picture, right?
right. It's kind of what I was trying to do with the builder competitions. It's like I was watching all of them, and they were all great shows. But I was like, there's something missing in the actual like competition realm, and put some stuff out there for when I did mine on the first, and I think I might have a good formula coming up. We can start working on it, hopefully in February. See if we get something monthly.
If you're not too busy.
Channel. Yeah. Add one more regular event to my schedule.
Yeah, that's building out, eh?
I think at this point, because the initial idea was to fill the week, which I've done, and now the process has been like refining the week, and I think I'm gonna have to start dropping some stuff and start. More successful.
That's a good point to be hitting.
Yeah, I think I'm getting there. So might start dropping some things, but that'll allow me to do the other things better, which is what I want.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, because once you actually start making the decisions to drop things, I think you start assessing things at a lower level or a higher level. That matters how you want to look at it.
Right.
But like you're going to the roots, right? And you're going, okay, how is this going as a full event?
Right.
Which ones are performing the best and bringing the joy and I'm having the best time with, right? And then you start taking out the bad stuff that, in your opinion, and then, iterating.
And even if it's just like, instead of making them events weekly, just putting like 2 or 3 of them in one day, and just doing like an hour or 2 of them. So like right now, like I'm looking at teaching tilting and the Ask a Builder Anything, and I might tag Ask a Builder Anything into Saturdays with the talk show. So I do the talk show in the morning, building in the evening. And then that frees up Wednesday. And then Sunday, I could probably figure a way to get teaching tilting to not be a standalone thing as well. And then that would free up another day. So like there's things I can drop, and there's other things I can reformat to free up slots, essentially. Right. So a lot to work on.
Totally.
Speaking of working on things, here's more of a hypothetical question. A kind of an event that you haven't seen yet that you would like to see.
A kind of event that I haven't seen yet that I would like to see.
Was there ever a point where like, I wish someone did this with marbles, but no one did or does?
I feel like I've answered this question recently, but I don't know what the answer is.
Not
off the top of my head. Because, like, I guess the event that I'm looking for, I shouldn't know in my head.
Right.
Right? Like, It should be so creative that I never thought of that.
Right.
It's a good
answer. It's a good answer. I think.
Of course, I build the modes with intention that people play it. But sometimes it just takes time for the right person to come along. Like, Royale sat stagnant for so long.
Yeah, I was playing with that idea for a while myself, and then Ross just like explodes. I was like,
yeah,
he beat me to it. Well done, sir. I couldn't do better. That he cracked it.
And then when those kinds of things happen, you get excited to do development on those modes.
Right. It gives you a little bit of direction too, right?
Yeah, because you start seeing the implementation of the game mode, right? And seeing how it's used. Because you could blindly develop into a direction and hope that one day it gravitates towards somebody. But if nobody's really tying into your original idea, it could be like, well, where do I take this? There's so many directions to
Right.
go,
Right.
right? So just leave it open ended until somebody sees something that you don't, and then go, ah, okay, let's start building this baby out.
Indeed. Any questions for me on that realm of conversation that you have?
Well, you're always, I like the way you take risks with your content that I think a lot of people don't do or wouldn't be willing to do.
Mm.
And I think just a question in the term of like, how do you how do you cope with all that going through your head, and how do you maintain a course while that course is being diverted on the go,
Mm.
on the fly?
Step one: hate everybody. Just I say it jokingly, but there's a sliver of truth to that. In that, um, like look at it as objectively as possible. My viewer base just hit 3,000, but there's been some bot stuff lately that'll probably get resolved and drop it below 3,000 again. But let's just call it 3,000 for now. If I have 10,000 followers as a goal, that means I haven't even attracted 2/3 of my audience yet. So appealing to the people I've already garnered is appealing to 1/3 of my viewer base, essentially. I mean, maybe over time exposure will multiply that out to 10,000 without changing anything. But I think it's healthier to look at it as what I've done has gotten me this far. If I want to get further, I need to do more, essentially. So respecting, acknowledging, and honoring the people who have followed you along the way, absolutely. But also knowing that if the number goal is higher, that you need to keep changing things because what you've done so far hasn't worked. It gets like you're saying, it's hard to navigate. It gets a little slippery, but technically, right? If the goal's 10,000, whatever you're doing up to 3,000 might be working, but hasn't worked. And I'm aiming higher than 10,000. I'm just using that as like an example for easy numbers. But that's kind of the way to look at it. It's just like, as much as I'm very grateful for everyone that supports me through the whole thing, the people I want to keep around are the people who are going to support me all the way up to 10,000, not just stop with what I have now. Yeah. So the people that continue to follow me are the ones that enjoy the fact that I keep innovating and changing and experimenting. And hopefully more people fall into that as the changes get better and better. So I think it's just a bigger perspective, a bit more humble perspective, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like, the respect, dude. Like, just to even say that out loud, I think is tough. It's because you're gonna hurt people's feelings by saying that, right? What you just did, because there's gonna be people. Well, I've been with you the whole time, you know. Like, why do you keep changing things? Like, I like it this way, and I can relate to that so much. But the system does, like, in content creation, the system needs a shock every so often. Like, you need to take those paddles and just go, whoa! You know, and people are gonna go, wah! At this
point, I think I am the paddles. People just hearing the name Chance TV, people are like, oh God, not again! What's he doing now?
So yeah, man, I agree. It's like kind of like the recent decisions I've made are in that line. It's like to continue building and like not get stuck in the same thing because you've grown an audience that like that so much,
right?
And be afraid to take new turns, right? Like, of course, your goal is to continue satisfying the people around you, right? But you also want to continue your growth and your path. That's something you got to remember for yourself, just to keep your own head sane.
There's actually a lot of collaborations I want to start getting into. You've opened the door recently, but We'll keep that hush hush for now. So that's a couple more people already that are added to the list, but it's a couple streamers that have either contacted me or if I've contacted them. Like, we do this, and we both do it really well. We should see if there's something bigger we could do together. And I think that's the next direction I'm heading at this point, is starting to expand the network. I'm tired of doing everything myself. I want other people to start doing some work.
Well, it's tough, yeah, but it's also tough to like lay everything out in a nice, clean format so that everybody can work off of it.
Yeah, yeah.
In a way that everybody agrees with.
Yeah, and it's I think at least for me, it's pretty easy because I've been doing public and group projects my whole life. Like I've always done like 4-H, which is all about community and giving public presentations and working as a group to do things. And music is a lot of that too, with public performances and working together to create something where no one person has the same vision, but the end result is still something magnificent if it's done properly.
Right.
So that's really just been a part of my life, I think, is that ability to work with other people publicly to create something that maybe not one person's perfectly happy with, but everyone is proud of in the end.
I mean, that's a powerful skill set to just be able to work on the fly like that with
it's
people.
I don't know. I don't know. It is good to have. I don't know if it's healthy mentally, but it is good to have.
What do you mean healthy mentally?
At least for me personally, how that manifests itself into like my personal life. At this point, I'm literally just putty. So whatever situation I'm put into, I turn into what that situation needs. So if like there's a party, everyone's having a great time, everything's going smoothly, I just like wallflower into the corner of the couch, like on my phone, doing nothing, right? But then if there's another party that's a complete dud, then I'm like up in the middle, getting everyone doing a 3-hour party game or something with everyone involved, and suddenly we're getting duct tape and we have to go make a run to the hardware store to get some buckets, and like it's like so there's this. It kind of comes across as a facade or fake to some people, I think.
Right.
Because they'll see me behaving entirely one way in one situation and then like an entirely different person in another situation. And streaming especially. I'll never forget. I don't know if it's the most flattering or the most insulting comment I've ever been given in streaming. But they were having a rough time in real life, and we kind of had a private conversation about it. And they're like, I'm surprised you actually care because I didn't think you cared about anyone. And I was like, thank you. I mean, that's kind of what I go for with some of my personalities in my streaming, but like I'm like that's not who I am. That's just
Right.
the character. So that's kind of what I mean is like it's a good skill set to have for the business, but I don't know if it's a healthy skill set mentally.
Do you think it's like if you see an opportunity to take the lead on something, you'll do it. But if you can't be the lead, you kind of pull back a lot because you're like, it's already being controlled and it's hard for me to kind of step in with my creativity.
A little bit of that. I don't think it's a challenge for me. It's more a respect thing, I think. And I saw Dark Madden in chat. Hello, Dark Madden. Like people all the time will like go into his channel and be like, Shen's on 47, or they'll go into my channel like Dark Madden's on 54, and it's not like out of rivalry that we're like, can you just like shut up? It's more respect thing. It's like when they're in their element doing their thing, they don't need distraction. They don't need other people coming into chat and sparking fire and whatever else, right? It's not like a.
Or do they?
I don't think so. I think it's more just like out of respect. It's like let them do their thing. It's their show, their spotlight, their moment. I don't need to be a part of it, kind of a thing, you know. I'll watch it, I'll enjoy it, I'll cheer them on, but you know.
But it's a stream. Like it's a different ecosystem, right?
Right, but you know, I don't want to take any attention away from Dark Madden, and I don't want to be a distraction for Dark Madden. I want him to do his thing, which is kicking ass. But yeah, so I think it ties into that kind of a thing as far as like respect goes. It's like if someone else is controlling it, I'll support them, but I don't want people to kind of favor me, because I've been like in work situations, especially. I was a department manager, but not the store manager.
Right.
And there were a lot of times people came to me instead of the store manager, and I'm like, you need to go to the store manager with this. Like, I appreciate that I'm the one you trust, but it's his job. Like, you need to take this to the store manager, not me.
Right.
Thing,
well,
right?
That's more of like an assigned positions kind of situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Whereas like the party situation you explained was more of like just a social dynamic.
Right.
Right.
I kind of see them as the same.
Well, the store manager thing, you don't really have control over, right? Like you have to, like your job is to support the store manager, so
Right.
therefore you have,
Right.
like you have to send them that way because you're not the one to make that decision.
Right, but I would.
Whereas in a party situation, just because there's something happening, there's nothing saying you can't
Right.
get involved or add your thing to the mix.
So it's perfectly clear how you've just put it. Is in the two different situations you have a choice and you don't have a choice. For me, I don't have a choice. It's all the same for me.
It's all the same.
It's all the same for me. I don't have a choice.
How?
And it's just out of respect, because maybe it's just internal things I struggle with. Growing up, I was very egotistical and kind of nihilistic, maybe even, dare I say, I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. But it's stuff I've struggled with, and trying to grow as a person and improve as a human being. I don't really trust myself competing for attention because I'll probably win. So out of respect, I just won't enter that competition. Unless it's streaming, then I'll let's go. I will put on a show that's gonna blow your stream out of the water, bud. Let's go. Come on. I'll fight you for those viewers. I'll win. So yeah, that's how I see it.
I gotcha.
What do you do kind of in your studio sphere? Like, there's obviously a chain of command, but I feel like you really support your people in letting them kind of.
Well, I've learned this over time with this project with Marbles, is to really bring on board the people who have not only the skill set to do the task specifically in terms of, like, let's say a programmer, right? To do like just, hey, I need you to do this, go do it. It's somebody who can also think on their own feet and add to what the task is.
Right.
And those are the people I've really learned so much from, is that you need to believe in your people and let them work. And don't be over the shoulders and just trust, put that trust. Because once that trust is there, the quality of work goes up. I have just seen it evolving from my experience within Marbles, is like watching the guys work. The second I let go of the reins and just be like, let the guys do their thing. They're really good at what they do. There's a reason why they're here at PvP, right? Like, and once I've, leaned into that, everything's been going up and up and up with us. So building that out, paying attention to that is so important for me, because I like to be involved. I like to add my 2 cents into the mix when I can, but understanding the flip side of, like, when I'm live and I'm just trying to get the little task done, and then everybody's like, do this, do this, do this, do this. It's like, oh man, you can't even get a task done.
Yeah.
So then it's like, you can't even get the original concept out before it's layered onto.
Right.
So how does that feel for the artist, right? Like,
yeah.
Or, programmer who I'm like, just like, change this, change that, change this. So I've slowed down on that. I let the guys get their task done, and then I jump in and layer with it once it's at the ideation stage. Once it comes to fruition, then you're like, okay, let's jump into the mix, and maybe we'll do this, and this, right?
Right.
So yeah,
And
I think that's it.
I think that's also part of the like emergent property of it all is you kind of need to see what's there before you know what's going to grow, kind of a thing. So like, you know, quick metaphor, you know, if you plant a seed in the dirt and you keep like changing the nutrient balance of the dirt and you keep digging around, poking around, you're going to kill the seed. Like you got to let the seed grow and then you can start changing the fertilizer and then you can
Right.
start shaping and trimming the plant and training it and all that stuff. So there's that balance of nurturing and guiding, I guess, would be the way to put it.
Very true.
Cool. None of that was on my list. I still got 9 more questions. Let's go.
Awesome. That's good. This is a good podcast.
Okay, we did touch on this a little bit. Let's go back to that. Battle Royale. Procedurally generated.
Yeah.
Last we talked, sir, I told you about 2 of my ideas, which was the hallways with many deaths playing the lives over and over again, cumulatively.
Wait,
And
what?
the other was
The hallways with the deaths?
where you have to like escape the hallway, and each time you die, your body stays there and repeats what it did, and then you have to go back and do it again with.
Oh yeah,
clickers.
okay. Oh yeah. I thought you were talking about marble idea.
No.
But yeah, I got you.
And then the second one was the speedrunning thing where you're just in a plane with tiles, and you have to get from one target to the other as quickly as possible, and the tiles all do weird things. And now you're doing this weird tile-based thing, Battle Royale, and I'm getting ideas like, well, maybe I could use that framework for my idea. Because I kind of like, it kind of looks like what I had in my mind. It's just, there's a plane, it's tiled, and then there's the objective on top of it. So I'm excited to see how it transpires.
Oh, I see. The tiles, just the reason for the tiles is just for simplicity to do the procedural logic.
Right. I'm assuming there's going to be
together.
like a meshing of some kind on the final product, so that it looks like one smooth map and not just a bunch of.
No, it's designed to look like tiles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so like we've cleaned up the edges and stuff, so now like you got your tile set, and
Right.
like I want it to look like an industrial thing put together, and then it looks nice.
Ah, okay.
But yeah, that idea, like that concept, that framework, it almost goes back to the Resurgence, the way that the arena floor changes at the start of every match.
Yeah. Ooh.
That's tile based, right? So like that idea was there, and then I was like, we can't do the same raising and lowering because there's not a lot of AI logic on the marbles, and to keep it very physics friendly, I guess you could say, or like to keep that good feel of physics as opposed to AI driven.
Right.
You want to like build stuff that the marbles can roll over and work with without strong AI logic.
Right. Right.
So that's why it's kind of
From what I've seen so far, it seems like most of the stuff is static. Are there moving pieces on the tiles yet?
Yeah, there's no moving pieces yet.
Okay.
There's ideas to do that. It's just keeping in mind to make sure everything works, so that we're not creating stuck spots on the map and stuff. You know.
Because the thing I was thinking of that would be interesting to see is like, because the bacons are so big, the Steve blades, they're like really big. Like if you put that on like the very corner of one tile, it would spin in 4 different tiles. And be
yeah, I wanted to specifically design everything for Royale. I don't want to like what I used to do is just pull stuff out of the track builder or the tracks and use it in Royale, and if like it was fun at the time, that's what it was intended for. But now I want to build functional.
Right.
So now that's the goal.
It'd be interesting to see how something like that interacts with the 4 tiles around it as it each spawns. So it might be interesting to see like coming up with something.
So right now I'm trying to build things in a way that each tile is not aware of each other.
Right.
And things can happen on each tile that work with each other.
Right.
But nothing, we can't put anything in that's like, well, if this tile has that and that tile has that, then we'll do this on this tile.
Right.
There's nothing like that.
Right.
It's all just self-contained.
That's kind of what I was getting. It'd be interesting to see if there was something you could create that's moving, that you could put on the corner of one tile and never has a bad interaction with the other 3 tiles it's touching. Like that would be, because you would have the tiled look of the whole thing, and then it would look like there's these 4 tile size moving things even though they're only attached to one tile. Even if maybe if it's just
It would need to be aware. You'd have to be aware.
right,
Or you just design every single piece to not intrude on that piece.
right.
So
How about random explosions? You know, you just put there's like
well,
this,
there's lasers,
this
right?
thing that just blasts marbles away from it. Would be
Yeah,
interesting.
there's a laser, and then I was talking about a fireball yesterday that could do radial damage. So on hit, it just
Ooh.
does something.
Radial damage with a push effect. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's so much you could do. It's just
I
about just
agree.
getting like there's only so much I can do, so I want to get it up as hard like as good as I can get, and then
Hmm.
build as much onto it as possible with like good developers who can think things through at a way higher level.
Right, right. Hmm. Cool stuff. I like it. What do you think is going to be the biggest challenge, at least as you see it now?
In terms of Royale.
Yeah.
Just trying to get the right feel.
Mm.
Like what I found, like what we've been adding some like bumps and stuff to the map, and with all the bumps, it actually increases the length of the Royale.
Right.
What I'm learning is there's a challenge. There's gonna be a challenge with the more diverse the map in terms of like different pathways going on, like vertical pathways, jumping, turning, like all this stuff going on.
Hmm.
There's less chance of marbles colliding, which
Right.
means the match goes on longer.
Right.
And do people want that? And if people want that, then that's good. But I still think there's more needed content wise that's going on
Hmm.
during that time frame. So it's not just waiting for marbles to collide.
Right. Have you
So
ever?
that's why like lasers and stuff come into play.
Yeah. Do you think there ever might be a time you more experiment with like game clock frequency or gravity or marble weight, or do you want to kind of leave it default?
Well, I've been playing with marble weight
Ooh,
with the sizes, with the size increases,
nice.
so that when you grow in size, it actually feels like you're growing in size as well.
Nice.
So that's been added, which I think it does a lot of better job. They used to, like when I first increased the size, it was just increasing size, so the weight was the same.
Hmm.
So things were becoming floaty as they grew.
Yeah, yeah. It looked because it didn't match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was increasing the weight as they grow now, and it feels a lot better.
Yeah. Let's say again, and kind of does have that problem you were talking about of going on forever, but the most fun battle royale I ever saw was a weighted mode battle royale. Because there were some
Yeah.
marbles that were just like tanking it, just like inch by inch, killing everyone in their way, and there's other marbles that are like doing crouching tiger,
Right.
hidden dragon in the air. But then they never hit each other, right? So that's the balance. But I think that's a good mechanic to have, is that there's a trade-off of some kind between like durability and maneuverability, because it just adds a little bit more interest to it, but that it does have that balance issue. You got to get it just right.
Yeah, I'd love to get like all the drops are now tied in with bits, right, for the
Hmm.
channel.
Hmm.
So I want to get like, I mean, it'd be cool to have like 100 different drops that could come down. And so like every battle royale is different. Like you'll
Yeah.
never see the same drops in a sequential order or whatever, right? So like you might get a battle royale that's all growth for whatever reason, or
Hmm.
you just never know. So I just want to keep building these things out,
Yeah.
just like Tilted is like keep adding pieces every so often and keep building it out, so that eventually it's just this monster that you just never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Speaking of which, mirrored tilt tiles. Is it happening?
Yeah. Well, not anytime soon. I'm trying to like. I need a keg stand on it, right? So
Yeah.
because he built the tilt logic, so just getting in there and
Right.
adding the right logic so that it can flip a tilt tile, and then
Yeah.
just making sure that any checks are put into place for if there's like moving parts on it, because that is not mirrorable.
Right. Yeah.
So
No, I
yeah,
had a viewer when I was doing a tilt session that had a really good idea too, because we were thinking of flipping it horizontally, so like this, the octagons that have the corners would be the other way, flipped it
yep,
horizontally. Their thought, which was kind of cool, was also a logic that can flip, like rotate the tile 180. And I
Yeah.
think as far as programming, I'm not sure, but that might be as simple as just switching the join in and join
Yeah, you don't
out
need to worry about the
points.
logic. The logic's it's about making sure everything works together,
Right. But like
right?
so that the octagon forest at 35, if that was the other way, so you were like going through it backwards essentially,
Right.
it's something that strikes me as not being too hard to implement, but would add a lot more interest to the game and like that unpredictability kind of a thing.
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah.
But yes, there's only so many hours in the day, right?
Well, it's not that. It's just like if you need the like if you need a piece to change, it's not a good piece,
Right, right,
in my opinion.
right.
And just throwing in some simple logic to flip it to mask the fact that it's a shit piece.
Hmm.
So what are we doing? Are we putting band-aids or are we fixing problems?
Well, I think the
I
quote
want to
unquote
like I want to eventually build every tile to be awesome, but
right,
I'm still learning what's fun with Tilted.
right.
Like what's the fun part of Tilted? What are people doing? And right now it's a lot of cranking.
Mm.
So it's like, why is that fun? Or are people doing it, because they have a couple viewers and that's what brings them in? I don't know. Like, I really don't know.
Right.
So I'm still just trying to break that down. And then, like, I think there was a community growing around speed tilting. I think there still is.
Yeah.
So that's why Tilted went in the direction of the idea of like fast paced, like get through the obstacle and then, kind of reset with the next
Right.
tile. And
Right.
some tiles don't have the reset location or whatever, an ability to reset. And that's your job to get through it.
Yeah.
So I want to head in that direction. I still think I want to head in that direction, but there's also the fact of like balancing it all with the season system.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Um,
yeah.
I think, at least for me, I think the untapped, and probably because it's just so difficult to really wrap your head around because of the sheer numbers, is that tile combo, right? Because, like, the biggest moments in any tilt run is the killer tile combos.
Right.
And it's like, will they do it or won't they do it? Um, so for me, the idea of like mirroring tiles, it kind of does two things at once. One, it kind of relieves the monotony of the grind, because when you are grinding those early levels, it is pretty much autopilot. It's like, okay, square's going left, octagon's going right, left, right, left, and it's like you're kind of unstimulated mentally. And it's not that the tiles are bad; it's just that
You've seen them a billion times.
yeah, it's just automatic. So just the
Yeah.
fact that you would have to take a second to double check the tile would kind of get you back into the game, I think. And then going back to the tile combos, right? Like, so squares going to the left into a squeege are really hard, but squares going to the right into a squeege would be kind of easy. And maybe with other higher level tiles, there's something
What
that's
happens when the squeege flips as well?
right. So and that's what I say. Like, I think it's one of the hardest things to kind of grasp from a design
Yeah, it
perspective.
changes up a minor dynamic, but I don't think it'll change things up truthfully. It's a mask. That's
Okay.
what it is.
That's a fair argument. That's a
But
fair argument.
I'm not against doing it.
Right.
It's just getting the work done. Like I'm
Yeah,
already
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
already looking at the logic and trying to like brainstorm on how to do it the best way.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm already on that path. I'm not trying to like shut it down, but
Right.
I believe the true thing is that a piece number one shouldn't be flippable. It should operate in a way that is symmetrical, but then can bring diversity through its movements. So
Right.
the helping hands is a very good sign of what I want things to be like.
It's one of the best tiles, if I may say.
Yeah.
So good.
That's what I want things to be like, but it's that piece runs so heavy. I'm scared to do more like that.
Yeah.
Because at the higher levels, somebody like Dark Madden, because he's already having issues with the massive level being generated.
Yeah.
Imagine not just one of those tiles was helping hands, but like all the tiles had logic running like that.
Right.
You're just like chugging on people's PCs, and then you got more frustration because
Mm-hmm.
people are lagging. So that's why I've taken steps to like try to simplify all the collisions in the mode,
Right.
which is still not done. Like it's I'd say we were about 60% of the way there. for like getting all the collisions to be simplified collisions as
Right.
opposed to the Unreal Complex,
Yeah.
which right now I believe all the walls in the game are still complex.
I've noticed.
Yeah. So anything rounded is not good. So like we need to like with tilted we have to go simple shapes with everything,
Yeah.
and we just need to get there. I need to get Airman on that task to like build it out and check all the collisions, which we're starting to build into our like common practice.
Right.
So Royale is built that way. It's all simple collisions,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's designed for physics mode.
Game optimization.
Yeah. So we're on the path. I'd say it's a long path.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the end is good. Like the effects of the new racetrack piece, which has issues with it,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
the fast race, like the track that's a
I
fast
had my
racer.
first death on the 13th Shenanigans Marble Derby Classic. Peridot just fell right through the board
On what?
on the paperclip.
On the paperclip?
Or are you talking about in the
Oh,
builder?
not that.
You're talking in the
No,
builder.
I'm talking about the builder, those new pieces
Yeah, the meshing
that are
collision.
physics integrated.
Yeah, yeah.
So those pieces, that's a sign of the future. Is like the ability to turn physics on and actually get the feel of like the marble touching the track and getting that interaction going.
Mhm.
So that's where things are headed for marbles, which is really good because it's full game optimization.
Yeah. And I hope you've been paying attention because that was one of the pieces I featured in my builder competition to kind of
Yeah, I saw.
challenge people. And since that competition, the ways people have been using the bouncy track is it's blowing my mind.
There's not even a track. There's not even a physics setting on there that makes it normal.
Right.
So that's a bug.
Because but you already have normal track, right? You know what I mean?
No, that's the thing. Is you don't.
Oh.
So like normal pieces,
Mhm.
they don't have physics interactions.
Mm.
99% of the pieces in the builder, well, 95% of the pieces in the builder don't have any physics interaction between the marble and the piece.
So they're frictionless.
It's not frictionless, it's just very minor interaction
Okay.
because it's complex collision. So it's like
Right.
it's handled in a specific way. Whereas the new pieces allow diversity in feel like that.
Right.
So yeah, once those pieces have the normal, I guess, friction you can call it between the two pieces, then I think we'll see more use of that piece. But I think the problem is that right now it's either slip and slide or it's bouncy.
Yeah.
So there's not really much diversity there.
Who knew physics could be so complicated?
Who knew? It's like, yeah, just turn on marbles, put on some collision, put them on a track, and we're good. That's the game.
Yeah, nah, physics, simple, easy, got it. Won't even need math. It's great.
Yeah.
I guess that kind of touches into two directions we can go. I'm gonna let you choose which way you want to go. We can talk map builder, or we can talk dev team. Which way you want to go?
Whatever, man. Whatever floats your boat.
All right. Well, we were talking about kind of workload and stuff. I guess it depends on your initial answer, but would you want to substantially expand the dev team to like create crews for each direction of game? Or do you like how it is now? If you had like all the money in the world to throw at this game, how would you go about it?
Oh, my dream is to build out as many teams as possible to continue shoving ideas out of my head and into games. So like that's the ultimate goal, is like to continue scaling what we're doing. But in business it has to make sense. And since we're self-funded, we don't have people giving us millions of dollars minus
Right.
the community that supports us and allows us to do what we do. So I need to continue building a great product, and that's the goal. So I can't just scale. I did this 2 years ago. It's like I scaled really quick
Right.
because that's what I thought is all that was needed, is to throw people at it and just keep going.
Mm-hmm.
But there's more to that. It's like building it with the right people. and getting the people who believe in it already, because I've learned bringing people on board who aren't cognizant of the product, they're not on Twitch, they're not really paying attention to what's going on.
Right.
They don't add as much to the product as they can, and they don't build the core ideas to the best it possibly can because they're not consuming the way it's being consumed.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think that's been a really good move on your part because you've been pushing everyone on the dev team to like start streaming and stuff like that. And we've already seen like, you know, Enders with MSLA, how quickly that exploded.
well, nobody on the dev team streams, like, who actually develop directly on the game.
Right.
But MSLA, like, I didn't push Enders to stream. I was just like, dude, like, you had a great time. Like, it made you happy. Like, I saw that in him, and I was just like, you need to keep doing that because it makes you happy. And, like, you come out of that. Like, when you see somebody truly, like, true happiness from a natural thing, I think that's so rare nowadays. It's because people they're not looking for that. They're looking for money or fame or whatever they're doing, which is fine. But the core of it is you got to be happy with what you're doing. And so when I see that in people, I really want to say, like, I really try to reach out to them and say, yo, whatever you were doing today, take note of that. Pay attention to the things you did at the start of the day to the end of the day. Consume it and repeat. Like, make yourself happy again because it's so important. Mostly nowadays, like, it's so important nowadays.
I agree.
You got to be happy because you're with yourself so much nowadays.
I was walking down the stairs after a Record Hunters promo recording. Your Record Hunters promo recording, actually. And I was, like, smiling and laughing to myself. And one of the people I live with was like, what's so funny? I was like, I was just thinking about Record Hunters. But it was, like, the fact that they noticed that I was, like, you know, just kind of enjoying the moment and having fun with it.
Yeah, it was so fun. I got a blast doing that, too.
It's good stuff.
Because I went in just, like, thinking I'm going to say a line, and that's it.
Yeah,
and then...
I was about to say, spoiler, guys, we gave Pixel 2 words that he had to prepare for 3 days, and he came in ready. Hey, guys. And then we started throwing wrenches at him, and he was dodging the wrenches. He was picking the wrenches up. He started building motorcycles. It was like,
yeah.
Because
it's like you're working with other people who are having fun. And so, like, it spreads. It's like a sickness, a positive sickness.
It's a
happiness.
sickness. That needs to go in the promo. Record Hunters. It's a sickness.
I mean, yeah, it'll catch on.
Great.
It'll get you.
Well, I think this is a perfect time to break into one of the most fun moments of the stream.
Oh, no.
The Mainstream Mixer! Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay. I don't know if we're going to need visual aids for this. I think we'll just spitball for now. But if we need to drag up a paint window or something, we can do.
I might actually make this better. By the way. I got the best thing for you.
Oh, man. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who don't know what's about to happen, I have challenged Pixel and myself. We need to design merch for one another. And sure, we could do it seriously, but I took the, like, if you try to think merch in terms of who would buy it, you limit yourself. I didn't want any limitations on this creativity. So I emphasized, pay no heed to seriousness, business application, or what, just this craziest merch idea you could come up with. Do you want to go first? Or do you want me to go first?
I'll go first if you want me to go first.
Hit me. I'm ready.
Okay. Do you know the Tushy?
The Tushy.
Yeah. It's like a thing that you can buy for your toilet that's like a bidet, and then you install it.
Okay.
It sprays your butt.
Right.
Okay.
Off to a great start. It's great.
It gets better.
You know, when I'm in the board meeting and the guy comes in to pitch his idea, and he's like, okay, you know, a bidet. I was like, all right, no, I'm good.
I'm in. Okay. So, obviously, the mustache brand needs to be involved. Okay. So, It's an attachment for the spray head of the tushy, and it's a mustache shaped. So out of the, you know, have a mustache, right? We do need visual aids, by the way.
Okay,
But,
no, I'm on it.
so you know the shape of your mustache, right?
Yes, I'm very
Okay, so
familiar
there's
with
like
this.
there's almost 3 tips, right? You have the ends, and then you have the center. Okay, so the center sprays up, and then the ends spray in. So you get 3 angles of spray on your tushy from the stash.
Can I hold on? All right, no, we got this. Hold on, here we go. This will be good. This will be real good. Okay, so
I worked hard on this. I stayed up late for this. You don't even
ready.
understand.
I'm ready. Okay.
Mm-hmm,
So here's all right. So let me hold on. Let's make sure I don't need a thick line for this one. All right, we got the toilet. Right, here's the toilet. Okay.
I don't even know if you can convey it with the toilet in the view.
No, we got this. Okay, so there's the toilet.
Yeah.
Right, and then this is like a cross section. So
You'll actually need a forward view on it.
We have
You
X-ray.
can't do
Right.
it from
Okay.
a side
Yeah.
view, because
Sorry.
then it would just be a line.
Right. So then the mustache is like this, and then the water shoots up this way.
Yeah.
This way.
Yeah.
And this way.
3 angles of cleaning.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Now here's my thought. Right. We'll get the front view going here. So we got the bowl like this, and then that goes like that, and then that goes like that. Perfect. Okay. Great. We got the mustache tushy thing. Perfect. Couldn't have drawn that better.
Yeah.
And then the water is going like that, right? Now here's my thought. Okay, what if we put like a brush on the mustache, right? So there's like a brush on it, and then what it does.
That doesn't look like a brush. Just saying.
Okay, sure. Anyway, let's say you put a brush on it, right? And then there's like a mechanical thing where it angles up 90 degrees and it just like
That's way too much mechanics, dude. Like, you're gonna have a repairman, then you're gonna need a mustache repairman. Like, it's just gonna be out of control. But
Fair
I mean,
enough.
you could build a whole brand around it.
Right.
Totally.
Great idea. No, I like it.
Sweet.
You want to go half and half on it or royalty? What do you want?
No, I want it all. Like, you get 1%.
Okay. All right. Sounds great.
for the brand integration.
All right. I don't think mine needs a visual aid, but for the sake of consistency, we'll do it. My first idea was a T-shirt. So we'll get a T-shirt here. That's actually not the worst T-shirt. We'll do.
Look, I gotta run to the washroom.
All right. I'll draw a T-shirt while you do that. Oops. Didn't do that right. This is not the worst T-shirt. I think we can all agree. Worst T-shirts have been drawn. I think we're all in agreement. Worst T-shirts have been drawn. Okay. Need to prepare. Why is this not? There we go. Okay, let's make sure we have our text the right. Oh God, 300 is not a good size. 30? Nope, too big. Let's call it 20. Maybe. Let's call it 16. We'll call it 16. Cool. You know, the top, we got some time. Let's take some time to actually draw this better. I feel like this didn't go as well. There we go. Perfect. Okay. T-shirt. Okay. This actually might be not a bad idea. It might actually be a good idea. Front of the shirt. Something like that. And then on the back of the shirt.
That's That's it.
You can put Marbles on Stream logo on there somewhere. I don't know. Could be good.
I spend all night.
It's just one idea. It's just one idea, Pixel. I got better ones.
This is what you have to counter with my idea?
I got better ones.
Wow.
I have better ones. I'm lowballing you or softballing you here. I have better ones. It's another T-shirt idea. All right, let's go for the let's go for the second. Okay, here's the second T-shirt idea. You've been imaged quite often. I think it's fair to say.
Imaged?
Yeah, like your image, your visage has been posted on the internet frequently. I think.
No, not at all.
Never.
What are you talking about? Oh, I've never.
Well, then this idea is not going to work.
Oh,
damn! I should have done my research. So, it's like a normal Marbles shirt. You know, you got your Marbles on Stream. Wada-doo-dah, kind of like the one I have. Sure, perfect. Couldn't have done that better. But here's the thing, it's you from the below the nose to the bottom of your beard, cropped on the inside of the shirt. So what people can do, they can lift the shirt up.
Here?
They lift the shirt up, right? And then it's you. It's your beard on the shirt. So you pull the shirt up to your face, and it's the pixel beard.
And I'm printed on the inside.
You're printed
basically.
on the inside, so you can.
So it's like those hoods where you flip over and you become Spider-Man or whatever.
Right.
But
you can become Pixel.
Right. With your belly hanging out.
With your belly hanging out.
It's a sweet side. I mean, that's a great idea. I'm not gonna lie. The downside is printing on the inside of a shirt.
It is more expensive. It is more expensive.
No, not the financial concerns. It's the feeling concerns.
The feeling concerns.
Do you like printing against your skin?
It depends, right? Depends.
I'm curious of the two situations of when it'd be good and when it'd be bad.
Because sometimes it's that like gel kind of stuff, and the gel stuff actually doesn't feel that bad.
Gel stuff?
It's like a gel paint kind of a thing. Instead of like the dry, scratchy stuff, it's kind of like a smooth, glossy stuff.
I don't think there's a situation where you'd be like, yeah, this feels good.
What if we'd get a team to sample a strand of your beard hair?
Okay.
And they
just one single strand?
They synthesize a synthetic material that feels exactly like your beard, and they just use that to stitch your image to the inside of the shirt, so it feels like Pixel's beard is just resting on your stomach.
That's I don't think anybody wants my beard hanging against their belly. Ooh. Feels so beardy.
Look, I said no idea was too bad. I think I nailed it.
No, yeah, no, it's a much better idea than the other one.
Right. I agree. Cool.
I put all my effort into the one idea, though.
Fair enough. Do you think a face mask? Do I have my face mask? I don't have my face mask here. Do you think a face mask with a mustache on it, is that overdone?
I'm pretty sure it exists.
Yeah, just like
already,
like my logo on a beard mask. I don't think that's gonna work.
On a beard mask?
On a face mask, yeah, like my mustache. Okay. I don't know.
I mean, it'll work. I'm just saying, like, it's probably done.
Yeah. Not worth it. Not worth it. Cool. Well, I'm thoroughly mixed. Are you thoroughly mixed?
I'm totally mixed.
Mission accomplished. Look at that. Mystery Mix-Up strikes again. GG's. That was really good. Mustache bidet. Did not see that coming, man. Did not. That's.
I feel like I had to come in swinging because the level of creativity that you bring. But today was
good stuff.
A rough sight.
You wanna take this crazy horse over, or start going down some rabbit holes of your choosing?
Um, yeah, I don't know.
Hmm.
I mean, what are your thoughts of the current streaming ecosystem?
Ooh, that's a good question. Um, I like. There's something interesting that's happening actually. Um, Back when it was kind of you, Spoo, and Standard hosting everything, it did create kind of that idea like you had to offer more to get a draw. Like if you had a tournament or something like that.
Right.
And so I think that actually inadvertently was favoring kind of money marble streams in a way. Um,
Okay.
but now, because you've put the impetus on novelty and creativity, I'm trying to find a good way to phrase this. The initial way I want to phrase it is the sheep will follow, but I'm not calling the marbles
Right. You
community
don't want to. You
sheep.
don't want to frame it in a negative way. I gotcha.
Right. But it kind of like the shepherd with his crook has said, this I'm not sponsoring the big giveaways anymore. I'm sponsoring people doing new things.
Right.
And people's expectations shifted accordingly. Where the more successful streams now, the giveaways are still going up there, but I think people now kind of view giveaways as just giveaways rather than big stream events. And they're
Right.
starting to look for more out of their big stream events, which I really like. It's a good direction to head down for sure.
I agree. I agree. You got to lean into the ones who are creating the best content with with marbles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Specific to like the marble situation, right?
Yeah. That kind of ties into a question I had, which was the map meta, because Grinder Fever has really hit this season. And I think most maps have been all about the grind lately. Um,
Can you define grinder fever?
um, might just be my corner of marbles, but it does seem like more people have been trying to get top 200 on the viewer side. A lot
Right.
more streamers have been going for top 100 or top 20 or top 10 than I've seen previously. And that's created kind of a market for grinder friendly maps to make the
Right.
grind as non monotonous as possible, which is a good thing. But I feel like there's a severe limitation in the creativity of a map when it's confined to 1 minute long, low elimination rate, 30-second spread on the marbles max. So I'm curious as to if that's a necessary thing just in function, because with more creative events coming along, that'll create a demand for customized and even like what I've been doing, which is maps on consignment essentially, um, which could be a good way to get those builds out there. But I feel like that might create like a weird no man's land where people that want to get into building might have to start catering to grinders just to get their name out there. But then they're not going to have all of the innovation knowledge in
Right.
like really creative map building to be able to make maps to the demand of someone hosting a special event. So I guess the question I'm asking is, do you feel like there might be this kind of learning curve gap being created because of how prevalent grind maps are? Or is this just something I'm paranoid about for no reason?
Learning curve for map builders.
Yeah. And just like the
I think there
meta.
is a there's a massive learning curve for map builders. Period.
Right, right. So I
Right.
guess the
Like
question I'm asking is, do you think the demand for grinder maps is helping or hurting people get through that curve?
I think demand for grinder maps gives people a good direction. And see, this is the thing: is I don't I don't fully agree that the grinder maps are bad. I
Mm.
think it's the way the current not the meta, but like the current grinders are taking it is it's forcing the rest of the rest of the people who want to go in that direction and grind to go in that direction, right?
Right.
And since they play the most, that's the perception that those are the tracks that are needed because they're
Right.
playing so long all day, right? I don't know. I honestly don't know what the solution is because I don't want to just start putting clamps and vices on everything.
Right. Right.
Being like, oh, you can only do 45-second timers, and then it just feels weird. And we
Yeah.
already have enough clamps on stuff, you know. So like, I've been waiting for this like epiphany to hit me, just to like, this is the new open-ended solution kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I still don't believe that the grind situation is bad. Like, I don't think it's bad.
Yeah. I don't think it's inherently bad. I guess, like I
I
said,
think it's all relevant to each other,
hmm
right? And right now there's a big push where there's a competition going on,
Yeah.
right? LT's currently trying to set a record and beat Head Snaps,
hmm
and Head Snaps already said he wants to beat LT next season with
Yep.
a million XP.
He's going
I
for
don't
the
even know
1
if
million
it's a joke.
XP. He's going
Yeah,
for it.
so whether that's true or not, that's it's for in my eyes what I'm seeing. It's a healthy competition that's happening in the community right now, and it's good. It's a good thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And so I just think we're in the time of the grind where people want, maybe they want the ball. I don't know what everybody wants truly out of this.
Yeah.
I think some people are creating great communities around marbles. I think the fact that a grind streamer has the capability to actually grow,
hmm
truthfully, is amazing.
Yeah.
It shows that there's a healthy enough community that wants to do that and support the streamers who are doing that. And that's just what the game is, right?
Yeah. I think.
And it's up to us to support other forms of content, which is what we're doing, right? With like the coin events and stuff like that, and the events that we are supporting. But I don't want to also stop. I don't want to stop supporting or saying that the grind is bad and you shouldn't go do that.
Right.
Because I think like everybody grinds. Every game's got the grind.
Yeah.
It's got its own grind, and usually it's relative to the competition that exists within the grind.
Right.
So,
I mean.
yeah, it's tough to like. What would be your solution to what's happening in your opinion?
Twisted Indie kind of touched on it. Might not be possible on the dynamic scale of all the different sizes of streams and number of marbles and things, but a more favorable time to XP ratio, like trying to find something where there really isn't too much of a difference between a 1 minute map and a 3 minute map, like points per hour kind of a thing. But there's so many variables going into that. There's always going to be one ideal number, right?
So we did that,
Right.
right? You remember the meta of 6 minute tracks?
Right, but I think that one ended up favoring 3 minutes right in the middle, right?
No,
Or was it 6?
it favored like 4 or 5 minute tracks, right? And as much as I believe long form content is good, at scale, I don't think long form content is the king. I think short form content is king, and it's showing it by what the viewers are gravitating to.
Right, right.
So the ecosystem is self-driving, and it's up to us to like put in like the right, what do you call it, algorithm or whatever you want, mathematical equation to build the incentives correctly.
Right.
And I do think there's tweaking that's needed, but I don't necessarily think the 1 minute race meta is bad. I think
agree.
it's fun. I think I see a lot of people having fun with it, and that's a good thing.
I agree. It's a weird one. It's a weird one.
There's so much content out there too, right? There's so many tracks being made.
Yeah.
Like you could just play community tracks all day and not hit the same track over and over. And the fact that we've come from an age of like where people used to play the exact same track for a whole month straight, and
PPP
now you
on
have
30.
the ability to
PPP on 30. Let's go all season.
Right.
Every day. PPP on 30.
And that used to have to be what's done, and people did it. And the fact now that you don't even have to play the same track, period, ever again.
Right.
Like, it's like a dream come true. It's like, it's built out in a direction that I think is great. And it's just, it's about us just continuing to pay attention. And if things do get out of hand and you know, for whatever reason, there's a lot of negativity around the grind, then we'll make shifts. But I think for now, you know, we keep trucking forward. And I'm always listening for ideas, and
Right.
I don't know, like I don't know about the whole, you know, changing the time or stuff like that.
Right.
But what I do want to do is build out the whole builder system more. Like there's just so much to be done there, and it just has to be done, like it has to be done with one big clean sweep move,
Yeah. Yeah.
because it's going to be a frame change. Like it's going to break old maps.
Yep.
It's going to break your settings. It's
I
going to
have
break
to
everything.
fix 3 of my 1-hour maps before.
Yeah, so
next
imagine
season.
when I make this major change on the whole system,
I just delete
your
them.
maps are gone.
I'll just delete them. Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's just gone.
that's a point that I'm afraid of, number one. Like cuz it's a jab at the community, even though
Right.
it's not meant to be. It's going to be.
But at the same time, it's kind of one of those Band-Aid things too, right? You're gonna have a cat drinking out of your lap for a moment. Hope you don't
Oh,
mind.
hey.
But yeah, I think it's one of those. It might just end up being one of those Band-Aid moments where it's like, once you have enough to say it'll be worth it in the end, then you can do it. And
Right.
maybe you're just not there yet.
Yeah, it's not even being worked on now,
Yeah.
to be honest.
It might be one of those things where, like, you have an entirely different map builder on a isolated server, and you keep building it up, building it up, building it up till it's like what you want, and then you can
Right.
just chug the whole thing in one update, and just be like,
Like,
sorry
I
guys,
want-
but
I
trust
want
me,
the-
this is better.
I want the voting to not be about popularity.
Yeah.
It doesn't impact popularity. It's a defining vote. It helps
Yeah.
put it into the right spot to make it be found for others who want to race that kind of track. Because as we've learned, there's people who like all ranges of content.
Yeah.
And it's not about us saying it's good or bad,
Mhm.
or the people saying it's good or bad. It's about saying, where does this track fit in these categories?
Right.
And I think that's where the future is for voting, because truthfully, are we trying to find the best map in the system? No.
Nope.
We're trying to find the stuff that we like.
Right. That's
So,
why I like
was,
the marbles.
yeah, like the other,
map
like
that the Frag
when I was
working
trying to
on.
grind this season, right? I was
Yeah.
like asking for the racetracks.
Yeah.
Right, but it was so hard for me to find, and I was starting to get frustrated. I was like, how do I even do this? I have to just play every track. So, like, I've recognized these issues. It's just they're major overhauls that need to get done.
Yeah. Do you think like number of times played would be a good division? Like under 100, under 1,000, under 10?
What do you mean?
Because like, especially if we're talking like grinder maps, right? You would do, if there were like brackets for each rating. So there was like the played 10 times or less bracket. There was 10 to 100 times played, and there was 100 to 1,000 times played. Like most grinder maps are over 100. So a lot of grinder maps would show up in the played more than 100 times category.
I don't know, not those types of categories.
Okay.
Like type of track categories, type of content.
Right. I was thinking like as far as like trying to sort things for
So
ratings.
like I'm thinking racetrack, cinematic,
Right. Right.
you know, like ideation or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you vote for those categories. And when you search in those categories, it would just be the amount of votes that are towards those maps that would probably populate in some sort of order.
Okay.
But I'd also provide the ability to sort. Like I want to provide the ability to sort through, like all those rating, like all those
Okay.
percentages. I want that to all be available to us, so we could sort on the fly everything.
So-
I want all the cinematic tracks that have low death rating, and you sort by that, and then you
Right.
get all that.
So instead of a vote yes or vote no, it would just be like vote art, vote grinder, vote race.
Yeah. And there'd be like a header with like,
Right.
I don't know, I'm thinking like 6 categories to start. We could expand or reduce, whatever.
That makes a lot of sense.
That's minor stuff.
That makes a lot
But it's
of
about the
sense.
framework of like this is like what bred the idea is, like the fact that people were like troll voting's a thing. The fact that people see that
Mm-hmm.
is a problem.
Yeah. Whether it's
But I don't
whether
see
it's
it as
a
a
real
problem
or
of
not.
like right, yeah, like it's a problem that people see it that way. So it's like, okay, you see it that way, well, we're no longer to do things based off like this opinion thing. It's going to be, where do you think it should exist in a categorical standpoint, as opposed to, is it good or bad? So That's where I'm headed with the whole idea.
That's a really good direction. I like that. Letting.
And people will still, I guarantee people will still call troll votes. Like
Oh
if there's
yeah,
a category that's considered
they'll
miscellaneous.
they'll put a challenge track in the grinder list just for the heck of it, right? They'll start voting grinder on my 1 hour maps just just for the heck of it.
Like I like this comment here, right? Like I've seen people vote no because they didn't win. This is the question. Have you seen people vote yes because the map builder, or have you seen people vote
Right,
yes
right.
all the time because they just vote yes? You have both sides to the play. So the troll voting I feel cancels out.
It goes both
It,
ways. Yeah.
yeah, it goes both ways. So like you can't, it's not a good way to look, but people are looking that way. So it's like, okay,
Hmm.
we're no longer going to vote things that way. People are going to vote with how they feel the map is and where it should lie within
Right.
these headers.
And I think that's a good direction. I really
Yeah.
like that. Cool stuff. I mean, this is what I was talking about with us having kind of that matrix vision, and also
Yeah.
just how you always seem to have this like ready to go energy. It's just like there's so many ideas all the time, and I'm in the
I've
same boat. It's
never
like I wish I could do everything now.
Yeah, exactly. Just but I'm also glad we can't do everything now.
Right.
Because there's some things that like I form an opinion on it and then a couple weeks later I'm like, "Oh," and then it evolves and I'm like,
Hmm.
"Oh, that's completely different." So it's
Right.
like I actually don't want to make that play. I want to change it. It's like the race pass that we were going to do this a year and a half ago or whatever it is, 2
Yeah.
years now. We were going to implement a race pass with the app revamp when we did that.
Right.
We were going to build a race pass for viewers and then like the incentive is to go around and go to different channels and play, but I was like, I don't like the idea that this is going to generate a group of people who are literally just farming prizes
Right.
or farming the pass and then
Because
that's
then
it, and that's
they're
the reason they go around.
not going to be doing the 180 races on one stream, and they're not going to be sticking around for 1 hour maps,
They're
etc.
not watching
etc.
marbles for the content, they're
Yeah.
just farming
Yeah.
the pass for whatever reason, right?
Yeah.
So I'm always worried about gamifying the viewer side so much.
Yes, I think that's a proper decision for sure.
But we also want to continue adding more things that streamers can do to reward the people involved.
Mhm.
So it's still something in the process. I'm not saying like that's the end all be all to
Well, as we
all
know,
viewer
every time
ideas,
Pixel says something, it's always definitive and never changes. That is the constant here.
Yeah.
Marbles is now what it has always been. Yep. Has not changed.
Yeah, man. So yeah, it's just like there's just so many ideas. It makes me wonder, like, if people are having so much fun now and we continue
Yeah.
adding things, is there an end to this? Or does it just continue going, right? Like, because I've been concerned about this for a long time because I don't have a lot of experience
Mhm.
from the dev standpoint on in the game dev world.
Right.
So, like, when does a game's life cycle truly finish? Is
Right.
that when the community's had enough, or is it when the devs stop adding that fresh content and feel on a regular basis, or is it when just the ecosystem says everybody's bored of this,
You
right? This
you
concept.
literally walked right into my next question. The Minecraft boom, right?
Right.
It was dead, quote unquote. Still the number one selling game, but dead for 5-6 years. And now after a couple of business shifts, they've been cranking content back into it, updating it more regularly,
Right.
and it's exploding again.
Yeah.
Um, you look at, we were talking about Rust. I got in on Rust on the beta when it was free,
Yeah, me too.
and I've played every major iteration of it. I haven't played it every update, but I've played it every iteration. So before there was scrap, after there was scrap, before there was a good building system, after there was a good building system. I played it a month ago for my streamer friend's birthday. So I think you're right in that the game doesn't die until the people making it give up on it, because there's always going to be people playing the game if there's something of value there. And if there's something of value there, I would imagine the people working on it are going to keep working on it. So I think that is very much up to the developers rather than the community, so long as the developers are keeping the community in mind. Because look at Among Us, right? Among Us was nothing for how long? 4 years? How old is that game?
A couple of years, right?
And now it's part of the zeitgeist. Like, sus is just the word, right?
Right.
So, I don't think there's a time scale for a game. There is that like luck quality, right? Of any, the same thing for anyone in any job. Honestly, it's just whether you get that promotion or not, right? But so there's a life cycle to the popularity of things. But as long as the developers are giving something of interest to the community is always going to be there.
Well, to me, that's a good thing then, because there's no limitation to ideas right now. Like, there's just...
It's a good place to be.
It's crazy. It's crazy how many, like, just random ideas there are. It's like, we could take that into it. Like, Tilted. I've talked about this Royale, like, Tilted Royale for a while, where, like, you queue into a matchmaking, and then you're assigned, like, the match is assigned a unique code, and then everybody's map generates based off that code, so it's all the same.
Yeah.
Right? And you play that match until one person's left standing.
Yeah.
And everybody just pushes as far as they can go in that match.
I like it.
Like,
you know, it'd be interesting if a couple people very familiar with the Tilted tournament scene got together and started coming up with a weekly Tilted event.
Right.
I don't know, something maybe to look forward to into the future.
I think that would be like a crazy idea. We'll have to see if somebody could take the reins on that.
Maybe. Next season. That's a question I have.
Yeah.
Any spoilers, teasers, themes?
So as I talked in the holidays, I don't plan on 21 being insane, like a massive content drop. I gave the guys all 3 weeks off because like travel issues and COVID and stuff like that. So I was just like, do your thing, guys. 3 weeks, no stress. Like, we've been working hard for a couple of years now. Like, time for everybody to just relax and have your family time, mostly during a time like this, right?
Yeah.
So I already came into this season knowing that 21 is probably going to be a light season.
Right.
And that's another reason why I just took some time to try and build out Royale, and to do something that like I could do as much work on as possible while the guys are off, and build out some extra content for the season. So that's what I expect next season to be: Royale and like a couple skins and some effects, but nothing insane. And that'll probably be that. And then 22, I think, will be like our stamp for the year.
Right, because
like,
we're also, I mean, to be fair, I think you've timed it well, because we're also kind of post-slump as far as Twitch goes. And this is getting into the time period where Twitch really starts to pick up again, and Marvel's definitely probably going to be picking up again. Yeah. So you're going to have a stable transition into 21, because not too much is changing. So that'll give a nice solid foundation for the newcomers to come in on, and everyone's already familiar, and we don't have to like try to re-explain 30 new changes to everyone who comes in, right? And then with that influx of people, you'll have a big platform of inspiration to really guide you for setting up 22.
I hope so. It blows my mind that we're here 22 seasons, right? 22. Like, even if they were all a month, that's still 22 months of like constant content, but some of them have been 2 months. Like, a lot of them has been 2 months, right? Yeah. So here we are, going into year 4 of Marbles in April off of like a random idea. and an awesome community just continuing to grow around it and building communities around it. Like, it blows my mind that somebody got partnered off of just playing Marbles.
I was amazed that Twitch went for LT. I'm very happy they did. But I never thought they would. I was so happy for LT when that happened.
So it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's like we've grown something into something very real.
Remember when you
And
had to convince them that it was its own category?
yeah,
Remember that?
yeah, man.
Remember? And now they're just giving Marvel streamers partner. Like what a
Well,
world.
no, I see. I didn't have to Twitch. I didn't have to convince Twitch. It was the company that managed the database, which
Ah,
is separate from Twitch.
gotcha.
And their opinion was that Marbles is not a game and therefore deserves no category. So, yeah, we had to battle for 6 months, and then finally I got in touch with the right people at Twitch, and
Nice.
I was provided the category, which was awesome.
Nice.
But yeah, dude, like, and you know what? To this day, at this point looking back, I kind of agree. It's not a game.
That's
It's
fair.
a damn community
It is.
experience.
It's a and it even if you were to say a game, it's not a game. It's what 5 games, 6 games. You've got
there's a
you've
whole
got the
bunch.
viewer
It's an
grind, you've got the
ecosystem.
streamer grind, you've got map making, you've got tilted, you've got battle royale, you've got boost mode and weighted mode. I mean, just it's not a game.
Getting ridiculous.
It's definitely not one game. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So
So,
that's
yeah.
division, right? It's how many different games can share the same ecosystem, right?
Right.
It's brilliant.
How many things can you build around the same ecosystem? Like,
Right.
can we, like, if we ever get to that point, can we build a second game
That's not
around
marbles.
PvP coins?
Right.
And then let's say we build another racing game. Can we tie that into the ecosystem of the whole XP system?
Right.
And then you're just playing a PvP game to compete.
Right.
Like, you could just go crazy with it.
I think Pachinko's kind of a step in that direction. Like technically it's still marbles, but it's proof of concept that you can have something cuz while it uses the same like game as marbles,
Yeah.
the mechanics are completely different, right? Cuz it's automated rather than a streamer,
Right.
and the player interaction is different because you're actually invested in what's happening on the like your ability to pay attention to the race is directly proportional to your success in the game, whereas with grinding your ability to pay attention to the streamer is what's rewarded, right?
Right.
So I think Pacheco's a step in that direction of just saying like proof of concept, you can have a non-marbles game interact in the ecosystem, but there's a couple more leaps that need to be made. So
There's just so many things you could do.
mhm.
Like, who says we can't develop another automated system where like it allows 5 marbles to join, and it's a quick 1 minute race, and it's just and then at the end there's something going on, right?
Right.
And it just repeats that process, and you just get to what it does is like, I like the idea of Pachinko because it allows you to highlight everyone who brings their loadout to the game,
Yes.
because you get your floating bubble, right? You get
Yeah.
your floating thing. Whereas like a race, you may not see your marble for a few races. You might not get that satisfaction
Right.
of like, hey, here's my loadout, and check it out. And I put so much work into this. Like, people put so much time into their loadouts. It's like we need to find ways to highlight everybody.
I change mine like twice a month.
I change
a
mine
very-
like once a season.
It's a very personal decision for me.
So, yeah, man, like building out more ways to highlight people's, loadouts and
I know you
just
talked
continue
about
layering
kinda
with
like
the community.
that challenge aspect of like marbles trying to overcome obstacles kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like with what you just described, if you had just like a queue essentially. So anyone hits play. So like the round starts, so kind of in that framework of the fashion show, there's the round that starts and everyone joins in and it loads up a queue. And then it kind of does that 5 marble race thing through the challenge. Couple marbles die, and then the next level, the marbles in the queue fill the dead spots, and there's like leveling up or whatever. That'd be really interesting to see what happened with something like that.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Because that would give you both, right? It would give people a chance to like join in, but still allow kind of that one-on-one attention to the marbles actually doing something,
Right.
or even not marbles. Maybe it's little stick figures doing something. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't think end game for these games are as many people as you can get into them.
Right.
I think end game is like fine tuning it to highlight enough people that it's fun and it gets your chat interacted, but it also allows others to like get involved in the experience as opposed to just they have to have a marble in the game,
Yeah.
right? Like XQC does marbles he did it the other day with 73,000 people in his chat.
Yeah.
Only 1,000 could get in, obviously,
Right.
right? But he still had a great time.
Yeah.
And he was racing for records and stuff like that. Like that kind of idea is like you don't need everybody in the chat involved. You just need a system that allows everybody to get emotionally involved.
Right. And that's always how I've kind of marked success, at least for my weekly series, is when my viewer count gets above my marble count. That's how I know I'm onto something, right?
Oh, your viewer count's above your marble count?
Right.
Yeah.
Because that means more people are watching than playing, which is
right.
Good.
Yeah.
So I agree. It's a good direction to head.
Yeah, dude, and it's just navigating the challenges in between now and and then.
Well, we're approaching the last half hour. Questions you have that you'd like to dive into?
Yeah, I don't know, dude. Like what you know, like I kind of know where you're headed with your content and stuff. I would ask like, you know, where things are headed and what are some things missing that can affect the near future of your channel? Not long term, not massive ideas, but these little tiny things that could be quality of life fixes with marbles that can help you out immensely.
You know how when you make a map with a moving piece in it, and the moving piece mutates,
slowly rotates out of place?
If that could be fixed, that would solve a lot of problems.
We thought we caught it.
Mm-hmm. Well,
but
I think
doesn't,
you fixed it with
not 100%.
You fixed it with the intermission piece, because I know Hidri and I dissected that one stream, and I think he sent you some information on it, and I think you fixed it with that piece, the slow moving ring.
Yeah.
Because that one doesn't do it anymore.
At all?
Maybe a little bit, but I don't know. But there's some big ones. There's some big ones.
Yeah, it's funny. Like Pachinko exposed this one issue with the engine, where once you hit 72 hours of constant play,
yep,
all material logic stops running.
Huh.
So all animations within a material. So like, you know how the rings stop flashing and
yeah.
You ever seen that happen? So that's after 3 days of it being open.
Wow. Okay.
So, and that's engine based. That's not us.
Right.
So, I mean, I just got to keep paying attention and see if we can catch something where we can mitigate that. But for now, it's just like that's something that the way the engine functions, and we have to kind of just.
That's what I was thinking. Is like it might just be some weird rounding error in the rotation.
Right.
And then my thought was, with my very limited knowledge of the actual programming of it all, like if there was a way to delete and instantly recreate the piece, like after every 10 or 100 rotations. I know that's a band-aid approach, which is not really what you like doing. But would something like that work? Where like,
it could be like some clamping on values or something. Maybe you could just check against it and correct it on the fly.
After it rotates 100 times, the piece is deleted and put back in again. Because I don't know, it might like flash for one frame, or it might just happen within a frame or something. I don't know how the physics works, but something like that might be like a quick band-aid fix to it. Because it is something over time. So if you recreate the obstacle, I think it resets to its original
it would
orientation.
Because it's a timing within itself.
Right. Thoughts?
Yeah. No, that's a simple one that just it's so deep in the engine.
Yeah.
It's about finding like what's the proper way to correct it without like locking ourselves into a box.
Right. Because it used to be just that thing where it was like it was like the anti-grav thing, right? It gets 1/10 of a second shorter every 37 minutes. It's like, well, that's only going to affect you, Shen. We're not going to fix it. And it's like, that's fine. So I haven't really been too vocal about it, but just last season and this season, now that you have like the rotating hammers, the mini hammers, and the hair curlers, and a couple things like that, like other people are starting to notice, like, I was working on it for like 5 minutes and the the little side to side things were all twisted out of alignment, and I had to reload the
Right.
map. It's like, ooh, it's not just affecting me anymore. So that would be
Yeah.
my recommendation for small thing. It's not a small thing, but yeah.
Yeah, the parenting issue that's being talked about in chat.
Mm-hmm.
I actually experienced that building my map
Okay.
that I uploaded.
With the obstacles reassigning.
Yeah, I was trying to like make the I did the tactic where you create a ring of something. It's all the same, right? And then I was like, I have this middle piece and everything's parented to that. Well, how do I move that to another piece if I want to change that and not have that there? Well,
Right.
I can't. So, yeah, there's got to be a system developed for that.
And again, this goes back into like having to overhaul the whole thing. But do you think?
I know what the ultimate solution is if that's what you're getting.
Yeah, removing parenting, is that an option or?
So yeah, that's where I want the builder to go.
Right.
Is like you don't have obstacle pieces and track pieces and all this. Like
you have 500 pieces. Yeah.
Yeah. You add them as you see fit. Because what we used to do was lock things down to obstacle and track because track was meant to be static stuff.
Right.
Obstacle was meant to be moving things.
Right.
That we don't want as many of in the level that'll ruin functionality. Yeah. But now functionality lives across the board.
Right.
So it's just about.
Yeah. I feel like a change like that could be paired with a material slider as well. So, like we have the track material, obstacle material, glass material.
Yeah.
So it might make sense to kind of add that on as well. So you'd have an obstacle, like let's just say we have the pin as a track piece that you can put on the track, and then there's a slider and it can be track, obstacle, glass, and it can give you the 3 different materials depending on which one you select. I think those 2 changes at the same time would be good. As far as
the whole revamp of the builder
needs
to all happen at once.
Yeah, just redo the whole thing.
Like it just needs to happen because there's core functionality that opens up further functionality. Like there's sliders that shouldn't come on unless there's something else toggled.
Right.
Because it's just confusing. It's confusing UI. It's all there. It's all available.
The racetrack piece for example.
I'm moving the slider. Nothing's happening. Right.
Yeah. So
it just needs. I've continued adding to it without rewriting the core functionality. That's why it's where it's at. It's not anybody else's fault but our own. But now at this point, it just needs a massive overhaul.
I had someone talking about this yesterday and a couple days before with the discontinuation of streamer skins. But I'm going to take a guess. And this is your chance to correct me because I'm usually wrong. Marble, like instead of streamer marbles, event marbles. Is that the new direction?
No.
Okay, great.
The idea is I was just taking a logo and slapping on a ball.
Yeah.
I wasn't proud of that. I wasn't like I tried to do my best with some of them, but some of them you just can't work with because it's an art asset done in a certain way, so you're restricted. You don't have the raw file. Some people have art assets from like years ago that they're coming with, and it's just like I can't do this, and I feel like bad sometimes because I'm charging a certain amount of money and providing a certain level of product, and it's like, so I wanted to get rid of it. Also, it's the paid aspect of it. If you've noticed, I've been removing paid elements to things that probably shouldn't be paid, and just getting them out of the system for now, getting them forgotten about,
right?
And then we can bring them back changed,
right?
So what I've been doing is we've been obviously onboarding the top 3 who don't have a marble into the game. But now what I'm doing is I'm not promising the marble on the spot. Number one, there's a contract that needs to be signed. We need to make sure all the, the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. Once that's done, we work with them to like create the best possible marble available. And that's including Tom, our artist, right?
Yeah.
So it's not me anymore. It's making sure the right hands are in the mix. And so instead of trying to like pump out 20 marbles a season, we'll maybe do 3 and make them as high quality as possible.
Sounds right.
But it's a painful change because so many people we had amazing support through that system. I'm not gonna lie, we had great support.
That was one of my streamer goals, and if we didn't reach it by the time you canceled it, I was like, But hey, it got me a stream deck, so I'll take it.
But yeah, I have been creating event marbles. because I think that's also a good way to support. Is like, you have a great event. I'd rather create you an event ball,
Right.
and it lives in the game for that event, for the lifetime of that event. And then once that event's done, when you're done, the marble still lives in the game, but it's not your brand.
Right.
And there's no like contract that needs to be worried about or anything like that. It's
And it
just,
also kind of acts as like it gives it a little more meaning too. It's like, oh my god, you have the builder competition marble. Like,
yeah.
whoa, that's significant.
Yeah.
So, no, I hear you.
I also think the negativity surrounding something that you buy as opposed to something you earn is like,
Well,
there's a nice feeling to something that you've earned.
right.
Like there's a really good
Yeah,
feeling.
maybe it's not negativity. Maybe it's just entitlement.
Maybe, right?
Right.
I don't know.
Because if it's something you earn, you're kind of just happy to have something. Whereas if you pay for it, you're like, well, that's not what I wanted.
Yeah, right. I mean, like, yeah, you know, there's that. It's like you bought something and it should be up to a certain standard, right? And you should be proud of it.
All good stuff. I have one last question, so we need to make this one take another 16 minutes. What is your ideal number of sponsored events and frequency for the immediate future?
For the immediate future, I don't know, dude.
What do you want?
It's all relative to the feel of the community, honestly.
Okay.
If I see a lot of like, I often react to like how people are complaining about something and what people are complaining about. You know, I try not to like focus on that, but I try to like correct the things that are really bad in my mind.
Kind of
And
like
like the whole mentality of like the tournament kits of like, oh, you didn't do it in the right way. Oh, you didn't launch at the right time. Oh, you didn't give it enough time for everybody in the world to get it. Like that kind of complaining. I was like,
it's kind of like
man, people really, really feel like they should have this kit.
It's like a red flag system, right?
Yeah.
It's like
So
once,
like that was
once
like,
you see
ding!
enough red flags, it's like, okay, I need to take a look at this.
I was like, I don't like this kind of thinking.
Yeah.
This thinking is not healthy. So I was like, okay, you know, it generates a nice piece of revenue for the studio, but it's creating such a negative thought process in the community. I need to stop it. Yeah. So sliced. And then I started noticing people speaking similar ways about Community Day.
Ooh.
And it was generating this like this negativity, and I was like, really? So I was like, get that out of there. Like we gotta purge this and stop this kind of thinking of like, I need prizes at all times, I need to get this, I need to be doing this and get this. It just feels so bad to me. And it feels like a bad mindset and a bad community to be developing. So I was just like, let's go purge, clean things up, right? And then I did the coins for December because I was like, this is a massive shift, but I was like, I want to try this idea of like layering with the community and allowing each person to bring their own like little event to the mix. And so then that happened, and then I was like, that's so good. But then January rolled around and I was like, I want to try something else as well. So now I'm trying this like believe in event and let it play out for the month. Right? And we got those two events going on.
I think it's a terrible idea.
So yeah,
I've
I'm
not
learning.
benefited from this at all. It's terrible. Terrible direction to head. It's going to be the end of my channel.
Yeah, so I do think there's a balance of like too many giveaways and too many prizes to enjoying the game. And I said this on the stream once. I was like, I said this on somebody's, I think I was chatting with Spoo. It's like, if there's not enough with the game for it to stand at its own 2 feet without prizes, should that game be having what it has? Like, so we need to go back to the roots and think about this. And going back to the roots, it's proven that the game has what it needs. It's just sometimes if you do too many prizes, it drowns out the awesome things that are going on.
That's how I've run my stream. It's like, if I need giveaways to garner an audience and make my stream successful, I'm not doing it right.
Right.
So I think it's a good mark of success.
And you just got to keep implementing that thought process on yourself and challenging yourself and being like, is this creating exactly what you want? Are you proud of that? Can you sleep at night? I think that's a big one too. Is like, do you lay up open at night and just like stress about everything you've done and like everything that's going on? And it's like, all right, let's make some changes.
I do, but for a good way, not a bad way. I'm up late at night thinking about everything because I'm improving it, not because I hate it.
Right. Yeah.
Well, any other questions on your end, sir? Otherwise, we can wrap up and head into some Q&A with the chat.
Oh, dude, let's jump in the Q&A and have some fun.
Cool. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for the YouTube portion of the talk show. Season 3, Episode 1, Losing Our Marbles, A Talk for Two. Thank you, Pixel, for launching the season with me. Woo! Good stuff. If you want to catch the Q&A, you got to be here live, Saturdays. It's the only way to catch it. Anything you'd like to promote before we go?
Just, season 21 is launching 3 February.
Woo. So
be ready for that. But yeah, other than that, jump into the category, meet those awesome streamers out there. There's so many people creating great content.
We'll see you next episode.